welcome to Spirits, Dallas's new happy hour show based upon looking at the new talent or even current talent within the world of social media, games, art, comic books from our last show, and even just music. Our current host, or not the current host, I'm the current host, Kyle Condis. But our current guest tonight is Sarah Jane Semrad.
Hi.
And we're here to talk to her about her, I guess, current, not indulgence, but her current life and works.
Jill of all trades.
Yeah, jack of all trades in the world of art here in Dallas. Oh, and then I have, this is a retake on the opening of the show. Just to let you guys know, this is going to be something that we may do on occasion. When we try to shoot live, and we'd like to do a normal continuously of the show, but since we're shooting live in bars, sometimes we're going to have to cut. But we're at the New Amsterdam Bar. It is off of Exposition Drive near Fair Park. The bar itself has only been around for about
15 years, maybe.
Well, I don't know. As a bar, I want to say maybe about.
Maybe it was a coffee shop for a while.
Yeah, it was a coffee shop first, and then it became a bar now. And it's been about 15 years it's been around. If you guys didn't catch it earlier, my drink of choice was Deschutes, which was a stout from Portland, Oregon. And
today is Ash Wednesday, the first day of Lent, so I am on a strict soda and lime drink schedule, unfortunately.
And that's something I should be doing since I was born and raised Catholic, but yeah, I didn't even realize today was the first day of Lent. So for the people who watch this that are my Catholic friends, I apologize, but other ones that aren't, I'm sorry, you know.
Sorry, Catholic.
So I guess we can get started talking about your career here in Dallas. You started off actually as a photographer, I think, in the art world here in Dallas, or?
Yeah, I actually started out showing my own artwork. So I did some shows like at Starbucks and places like that. And it was actually the Magnolia Theater where I hung 8 of my photographs, and 5 of them sold within a couple of weeks. And so very quickly my friends were saying, hey, can you get us a show at the Magnolia? And I'm like, the manager's totally cool, just call him. Well, anyway, the manager was this very burly Australian man who was not easy to approach, and I found out that I was much better at the people part than the actual art part. So
one thing I got to get across is this is the Magnolia Theater at the Magnolia, well, I guess theater in West Village,
yeah,
or
West Village, right when it opened.
Because I only bring this up because there's also another Magnolia Theater in Fair Park, yes, and that's every time. I've always done the video raises here in Dallas,
right,
and
it's always at that Magnolia.
Yeah, so.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So anyway, I'm better at the people part than I am the art part. I'm kind of a hack of an artist, and not a very good one at that. So.
Do you still do photography, or?
I do. Yeah, I do photography a lot. I'm self-taught, and I emulate the style of other photographers that are my friends or that I like, and so.
Are you more like traditional photography or digital photography?
I was traditional photography forever. I had my own darkroom in my home, and now I can't get chemicals, so
okay.
I've switched completely to digital.
You know, you bring up chemicals, and I think of the fact that you were originally a chemistry major in college.
Dirty secret, yes.
How did you go from chemistry to? And I know some people to do be a medical background and kind of get into art, but how did you go from chemistry to doing photography and working in the art world?
Well, I went to University of Dallas, which is private Catholic, liberal arts college here in Irving, and the basis of that curriculum is philosophy, theology, arts, art history, pretty much everything non-scientific and non-mathematical, but I'm really good at math, and I'm really good with that kind of thinking, and so I was very fortunate to be steeped in both sides of my brain for college, and so it was very natural for me. I didn't know what I was going to actually do with my chemistry degree. I worked briefly at Frito-Lay, the Cheese Puff Lab, and I interviewed for a couple of very weird jobs at a breast implant manufacturing facility in Irving, as well as Pizza Hut headquarters, and I declined both jobs. And very easy, natural progression out of math.
This also led to you, I think, eventually opening up your own gallery, the IR Gallery.
The IR Gallery, yes.
Which I think actually used to, if you guys want to see...
There, now it's a clothing shop.
The middle shop, there are 3 doors from the very corner to the very lit up shop, very center one. I think one of the interesting things about it is you actually did people with new, like working sort of like an early new media kind of artwork,
Absolutely. So IR, it was really the Sarah Jane Semrad Gallery, but I was working with a gentleman that had a nonprofit called Integration Research.
Okay.
Hence the IR. Mm-hmm. And I liked what he was doing, and it was a natural fit to call it IR Gallery as the sort of physical space where those kinds of activities would manifest. Well, IR Gallery sort of operated in tandem with another organization I was involved with, the Pigeonstone Project, and that was sort of our MO. I mean, we took what would be considered an art venue and we just completely tore it apart. So this was sort of the traditional gallery setting, but then Pigeonstone Project at its height had 12 different locations all over Dallas, and we had everything from a tattoo shop to a church.
Wow.
And everything in between. So what that meant was that we could accommodate any sort of art and any sort of medium, and IR Gallery was sort of the crossroads of all of that, and we allowed ourselves to sort of pull out the best and the brightest and the most interesting and put them in the actual physical space, like a proper gallery space.
Do you remember anybody like in particular that really broke out of the normal traditional art style that you remember, or?
Totally. I remember working with Patrick Rhodes, was an artist, a painter, and an illustrator, mixed media collage, and he installed his show partly on the floor.
Wow.
He built a subfloor, and he installed half of the show on the floor and the other half on the walls. And it was beautiful, and it was really cool to watch people sort of feel very uncomfortable about walking on the art. He put it under plexi, so it was visible, but you still had to walk on it. Another artist that I really loved that just sort of did something very different is this guy named John Miller, maybe, and he did the same painting like 15 times. And so each painting was slightly different, but it was basically the same painting 15 times in the space. And that was really sort of hilarious to watch people come in and experience that. And then with Pigeonstone Project, one of my favorites was collaborating with the 06 Collective.
I remember that. It was Who Shot JFK?
We called it Conspiracy Theory.
Okay.
And so it was an opportunity for a collective of artists to sort of break apart what does it mean to have a conspiracy or conspiracy theory, and there was everything from the sort of confrontational grassy knoll that was thrown across the floor to the you could shoot the president from the nobody arrested us, thankfully.
I remember that because I was like actually helping out with they used a BB gun, and of course the lock was broken, so I was there. Tim had me actually clicking back the gun so I could put BBs in, and it was my hand was torn up the next morning.
Yeah, that was intense, and then the cheese and the ants and just that whole show it just blew stuff open. And one of my other favorite shows that we did was with the guys from Art Prostitute, Mark COC and Brian Gibb, and then there was this sort of like out of left field guy named Michael, and they did a fantastic show. So it was like an opportunity for us to sort of show the work of people who are always showing work, and it was a lot of fun. Stephen Laptey-Safon transformed the IR Gallery space into this. He's mostly blind, and so he did like a full installation on the walls and the floor and everything, and then he had this screen projected with I don't remember what the text was, but the way he has to read, he can only see like peripherally, and so the way he would have to read was this really like jerky, awkward kind of like shifting of text, and so we had it, I don't remember if it was from the inside or from the outside, but there was this whole visual, jerky, recorded display of his stuff he was reading. Anyway, there's countless other amazing things that we did. But,
was Pigeonstone sort of a separate entity outside of the IR Gallery, or was that something that sort of, I guess, birthed out of it, or? Yeah,
they sort of operated side by side, and then when the gallery closed, Pigeonstone Project just completely took off.
Okay.
And
then you guys also showed at Magnolia Gallery again.
Yeah, so we absorbed the Magnolia in the Pigeon Stone Project. Basically, the Pigeon Stone Project was a concept gallery with satellite locations all over Dallas. So, you know, like I said, everything from a tattoo shop to a church, movie theater, a law office, a loft building. I mean, we had clothing stores, bars, coffee shops, restaurants, you know, you name it. And the artists loved it because they were getting to show their work through sort of a curatorial filter, which was the Pigeon Stone Project. You know, the businesses loved it because we were bringing in 200 people that had never heard of their establishment before, and introducing who they are in the world to a whole new demographic. And it was a phenomenal business model. Great.
So is Pigeon Stone still around? Or?
No, the bird is dead. A shame.
I guess still going along the same lines of your art, you also run, I guess the best way to say it is artist residency called La Reunion.
La Reunion, yeah. So that's sort of the current incarnation of what I'm up to. It's a 35-acre urban forest that we use as a studio and gallery. So right now, residencies sort of consist of the opportunity to work big and work in nature and work in a completely different environment than a traditional studio.
Are you eventually thinking about maybe having actually building studio space on the 35 acres?
Of course, yeah. We have an old house and garage on the property that's sort of going to be phase one, is rehabilitating the house and garage and making them livable for local and national and international artists to live and work and have access to the 35 acres. And then future tenants, you know, we envision new construction out on the property, and that old house and garage sort of become a platform for everything that we're doing, tours, for everything that we're doing. So it's a beautiful project named after a utopian colony that settled here in the 1850s, called La Reunion. They were from France and Belgium, and they brought the first piano and botanist and brewery to Dallas.
Oh wow!
And they left a lasting legacy, even though the colony is folded after a short time. And so we named ourselves La Reunion to sort of just bring up the cultural roots of Dallas.
I noticed on your brand you actually had like part of, I guess, a railroad track or something, or it was really cool. I mean, I could see some, if you're the right artist, trying to make some kind of installation piece.
Yeah, we've had a structural engineer out to take a look at the trestle, and it is structurally sound. We could use it potentially for building. There's a lot of red tape with using it, but for now, it's this amazing aqueduct-like relic that's left over from 100 years ago. And you know, back when it was functioning, it was high-speed mass transit in Dallas, which is so sort of shocking to wrap your brain around. We had high-speed mass transit, east, west, north, south, you know.
So officially, how long have you been doing La Reunion?
I've been working on La Reunion since January 2006, and in the first 4 years of operations, we're starting our 5th year, we've conducted international architecture competition to generate ideas for the site itself. Totally cutting-edge green design ideas. We also did a design competition with the Dallas Museum of Art to generate ideas for studios. Catalogs are available for purchase.
Links will be put
through
on
our
the site.
website, lareuniontx.org. You can also make a tax-deductible contribution, same venue.
Pimp it all out as much as you can.
So in the first, several years of operation, really we've just been asking the community, what does the community want? What is it that Dallas needs? And then also just trying to create a proof of performance, like by having events and tours and educational opportunities. Right now we actually have artists working on the site in the 6-week residency to create site-specific installation works that are ideally made with found and natural materials. We have great partnerships with Girl Scouts, with Dallas Art Dealers Association, with the National Sculpture Center, with the Dallas Museum of Art, as mentioned. So that's really what we've been trying to do the first 4 years, is build this into a community-based project. We have no fairy godmother. There is no big one funder.
This is all, you got to work on your own
this
to get
is
the
all
funding. And
$50 and $100 contributions, and I'm not kidding. There is some grant funding that we've received, but being a new organization, the big foundations want to see a little bit of longevity.
Well, you've been around for 5 years, so you're already proving that you can live and produced.
So now is when we can actually start to, really write some big grants and possibly some capital grants. Things like that. So.
And we're back one more time. Jumping across from Larry Union to your other organization, Spark Club.
Spark Club, yeah. That is simply a network of socially minded entrepreneurs. So people who sort of start things on a serial basis. How can we work together and collaborate and exchange ideas and resources and help each other out? So it's about good returns business models. It's a great mixture of for-profit and non-profit organizations that are at the table. But Spark Club in itself is simply a network, and we try to meet monthly, but it's all volunteer.
You have a lot of people that come to these meetings.
Yeah, they're amazing, and lots of great things happen as a result. So
I think your last meeting was at the Reunion Tower, wasn't it?
At Reunion Tower. Yeah.
So how did you start Spark Club?
Spark Club sort of started. There was a group of us that. Stacy Caldwell, her husband Christian Caldwell, this wonderful man named Bob Wright, Jill Krumsick. It was really just an opportunity to brainstorm how to get like-minded people that are doing this kind of work together. And so it sort of just started. We just booked one of them, and people actually showed up, and we booked another one, and people still showed up. And I mean, it really started that simple. It was very grassroots. And
how long has it been going on for? Or?
Not that long, since I guess October.
Really? Oh, just last year?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Just a few months.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, hey, you gotta talk about the license you just got for like that special type of 40-second presentation thing.
What?
I can't remember how it speaks.
Special kind of license.
For the Spark Club presentation thing?
Oh, Pachachka.
Yes.
I'm not okay.
Oh, never mind. If you can't, don't worry.
I'm not pronouncing it correctly, but Pachachka is how I pronounce it. But the website looks like Pecha Kucha. Anyway, it started in Tokyo in like 2004, 2005, and my buddy Brian Murphy and I have gotten the okay from Pachachka in Tokyo to execute it in Dallas. So Pachachka is a phenomenon that's in over 300 cities worldwide, but it's never been to Dallas. And what it is a series of presentations of interesting people that are maybe in the design or art or just some other interesting field, giving presentations of 20 slides at 20 seconds each.
Oh, wow.
So the total presentation is like 6.5 minutes. It's totally quick, short, digestible, sit down. And so we've been given the license for Dallas. And so we're going to sort of intersect Spark Club and Pachachka at some point later this spring and feature some of these really interesting people that have been coming to Spark Club.
You said July or?
Sometime this spring.
Oh, sorry.
But you can go to the website sparkforgood.wordpress.com.
Okay, sounds really interesting.
Yeah, it is.
Have you got all your people lined up that you want to have?
Not yet.
Okay.
No, but I've got an idea of at least half of them.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Pulling away. Excuse me. Pulling away a little bit from you. Also, I think one of the most interesting facts is your husband actually was had his own band called Course of Empire, which I hear has its own cult following still.
They still do.
How did that happen? I mean, how did you kind of end up meeting marrying into a band member?
Rockstar. We met at the grocery store, and I thought his name was Scott. His name is actually Paul. But I thought Scott was really cute, and Scott asked me on a date to Ships. You know the dive bar Ships. You should do one of these episodes of Ships.
I know exactly where it is.
God, I love that place. So he invited me out to have a drink with some few friends from work, except I had a boyfriend at the time, and I thought I was meeting him and a bunch of friends from work. Anyway, so throughout the course of the evening, I found out that A, his name was Paul and not Scott, and B, that it was actually a date. And so I remember him saying, yeah, I'm in this band called Course of Empire, and I had this like audible click in my head, like, oh, I can leave this date right now.
You were telling me that like
usually a guy in a band.
A band was a date breaker for you.
No, yeah, it's kind of not a cool thing to me.
Were they really? Oh, sorry. Awkward.
Yes.
Did you get all that?
It's staying in.
That was awesome.
That was
the reality of doing a podcast, people. And from what I hear, he still gets hit upon I guess, being a cult idol or something.
Yeah, he played bass with a very popular band, and the other guys in the band, we're still in contact with all of them. They're all delightful, charming people. We know their wives and their children, and I love them all very much. But yeah, I mean, people still like pull out the records and want Paul to autograph it. Really? Okay, it's been a while, but
do you? I mean, I gotta ask. Do you ever get jealous when either younger girls or girls come up to ask, to?
Well, no younger girls are hitting on him.
So who were some of the acts they actually played with? I mean, you said they opened up for a few, like...
Yeah, they opened up for Rob Halford's group, too. They toured with Sister Machine Gun, with Prong, with Sisters of Mercy. Gosh, they played tons of festivals and things like that. They were wildly popular back in the time.
What does he do now?
He is a stay-at-home dad and graphic designer, so he does all the work for the Undermain Theater here in Deep Ellum. He's got several clients like that, and he homeschools our children.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Go ahead. You've already spoken once. Go ahead and speak.
No, I was just thinking you need to be Doc, but that's all.
Who's Doc?
Doc owns a funny little school that I'll explain later.
It would be a little bit hard since they live in Plano and they're...
No, because his teachers travel all the way to South Dallas.
Okay.
Well, we're in a club.
No, it's not too bad.
Yeah.
I guess the last remaining question I have for you is what's in the future for you? I mean, you do so much. I mean, is there any big plans or any, what's 2010 hold for you?
Well, my big commitments in life are most definitely La Reunion. Art Conspiracy is
Oh, thank you for reminding me.
Big commitment of mine. Spark Club is really important, something I want to see continue to happen. Really just trying to balance. My life is always a tricky situation. I do aspire to have a real job someday, so hiring.
If you don't count what you do a real job, then
my job is a cobbled together series of freelance gigs.
Still, I mean,
yeah.
But that does bring me to the point. Art Conspiracy, something you've been doing since '05. If I'm right correctly, it's a 2-night event. First night is you bring artists together to work, I guess, with a sort of medium or on a certain kind of
plywood.
Yeah, plywood, and then you said they had to do a certain kind of thing, and the next night is an auction. Can you elaborate a little more?
Yeah, so ArtCon is 2 nights. Actually, it's months of lots of planning, but the event itself is 2 nights. So night 1 is day 1. It is actually all day. It's from 8 a.m. to about midnight, and artists come in throughout the course of the day in shifts, and we issue them an 18 by 18 inch piece of plywood, and their job is to create something on site using the plywood. And so we've had artists paint, we've had collage, we've had artists, Zach Broadhurst in year 2 actually chopped up his board and shoved it in a jar. Brilliant. It's like, oh dear, we are in big trouble now. But anyway, we've been around now for 5 years, so we've seen lots and lots and lots of things that artists do. And then the next night, we actually throw a giant party. So we invite local bands to play, we auction off all the work, we raise a ton of money, and then we give it all away. And so the idea behind it is that it's sort of like street level philanthropy. If we had a tagline, that would be it. And so it's artists and musicians raising money and giving back to other artists and musicians. So our beneficiaries have been, Russ Solano was our beneficiary this year. They do art with incarcerated women. Last year we did Preservation Link. They do video and film. Actually, you guys might want to get involved with them.
We already are.
I've already been told I've been already
Dave
scheduled
Herman.
for it.
Is that who you're working with, Dave Herman?
No, him.
Yeah, I do video art, so...
With Preservation Link?
No,
just on his own. He's been gallery showing like crazy.
They've got the vehicle to push you through with all your equipment and everything, and you can do what you do, and it's awesome. Anyway, so call for beneficiaries will go out later this spring, and ArtCon 6 will be sometime this fall.
It's usually around December, isn't it, though? Or no, I can't. Call me if I'm wrong on this one. I thought, aside from giving them plywood, isn't there usually a topic of how they sort of have to do their art? Or
no, we don't give them a theme or anything like that. Okay. There's usually a theme for the event itself.
Okay.
So the year that we were at the Gypsy Tea Room, we sort of had a nerdy science theme. Wonder where that came from. And so we had a periodic table of Dallas, and artists and musicians could buy a square on the periodic table, and we painted a big mural and all the shirts at the periodic table of Dallas. Last year we didn't really have a theme. The year before that, because we released our new logo last year, so last year was all about the new logo that Brian Murphy designed, and then the year before that was Deconstructed.
I remember that one.
Yeah, so that was like a theme, but it didn't mean that the art had to be deconstructed.
Yeah.
It was just like we're throwing a massive party in a giant warehouse where there's no heat or electricity. So, so in answer to your question, 2010, Law Reunion, Art Conspiracy. I'd like to see Spark Club grow and foster. I've got a trip to Turkey this summer. It's going to be exciting.
Any particular reason, or are you just traveling?
It's this really cool trip where it's a group of sort of artists, arts professionals, writers, people deeply involved in the arts. We are going with a Turkish organization to sort of meet our counterparts in Turkey.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And so we're going to be touring Turkey and meeting other artists and visiting other artist residencies. And,
that's really cool.
It's going to be amazing. So that's 2 weeks this summer.
Nice.
Can you take us?
Please come here to Dallas.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah.
I've never been to Turkey.
Okay.
Oh my God, it's so worth it. Last I remember, my bus got stuck on the ferry.
I cannot wait.
Well,
Dangerous neighborhood.
I know. For anyone that didn't notice, I'll tell you later. Homeless person walks by.
No, totally different
walks
truck.
Back. Okay.
Totally different truck.
Anyway, so I guess that's about it. If people would like to find you online, where could they maybe find you? On Twitter, Facebook, the online period?
I'm online everywhere. Easy to find. LawReunionTX.org I think would be sort of the place I would direct people. Find Twitter /LRTX is the La Reunion Twitter feed.
Okay.
But yeah, pretty easy to find.
Okay. Well, thanks for being on the show, and
thanks for having me.
No problem. And we will see you guys hopefully pretty soon. So until then, catch you later.